Welcome to this presentation entitled Cozumel English Majors Implicit Theories of Reading Comprehension with me and my colleagues, Mizael, Garduño, and Vilma Portillo. Vilma will now explain our introduction. Go ahead, Vilma.
Thank you, Professor Perales. Well, here we have that reading comprehension is an important area of the Programas Nacionales Estratégicos, PRONACES and CONACYT. And also, according to OCDE, INE, and some other institutions, the level of achievement in reading comprehension of Mexican youth is below the national average. This is very important to mention because also based on the findings on carried out by Perales and et al., a great number of English medium teachers have unsophisticated beliefs related to the reading comprehension. Well, teachers' reading comprehension beliefs have been the subject of recent research, and as they've been found to be poorly grounded in theory, and as far as practice, they show complex connections. Also, according to some scholars, large groups of teachers have been found to show weak connections to reading, and in other words, they do not read, or else their reading habits are very limited. And so, in continue with this presentation, we have the reading beliefs have been shown to guide actual reading processes and teaching practices. And because of the above, it is vital to investigate the reading beliefs of prospective language teachers. Why? Well, because their performance as reading teachers may have positive and negative impact on their future students. And also, derived from the previous, it is necessary to use instruments constructed and validated for English language bachelor's degree students population. And this instrument have to have variables associated with reading thinking, and that can also produce inequalities in reading performance, such as socioeconomic status and gender. And well, and also validated an instrument and identifying the beliefs of pre-service teachers can provide curriculum planners with valuable information to help raise the complexity and functionality of the beliefs of these populations. And also, it is necessary to observe if the scale fits the segment of the future teachers and allows also to generalize the results in relation to this very segment. Then we have the objectives. Well, we have that the general main objective of this investigation is the validation of the implicit theories of reading comprehension, ethical, its Spanish acronym, with students of the bachelor's degree in English language at Cozumel. Well, our colleague Mizael is continuing with the presentation.
Thank you very much. We need to start saying that we approach this study of beliefs about reading using the concept of implicit theories of Rodriguez and Marrero Acosta, 1993. Here, implicit theories constitute sets of implicit representations of a personal and social nature focused on some aspect of reality. Here, we say that they are not easily accessible to consciousness, and they have an attributional character and a pragmatic situational functionality. This construct has been widely used to examine the reading-related cognitions of students and teachers. In other words, implicit theories of reading comprehension are types of beliefs about reading. Well, literacy practices and related ideas about reading and their actors affect implicit theories and explain why they are shared among people who belong to the same social group, presenting variation among groups. This means that the context in which these implicit theories are studied is very relevant to any interpretation of the results. Well, there are different theoretical frames, so we present some of them. The first one divides these implicit theories in three main aspects. The first ones are receptive of or transmissive beliefs that they focus on, and they focus on the text. We have the interpretive beliefs, they focus on the reader's subjectivity. And finally, interactional or epistemic beliefs, they focus on communication and knowledge. This is a proposal by Errázuriz et al. 2019. Here it's important to say that they all share similar characteristics, and they are generally inspired by the first works of Shorn and Browning in 1996. Also, Perales et al. 2021 divides the implicit theories in two very clear and simple ways. First one, we have simpler, and they are called receptive, reproductive, or linear. Here we have to say that in all studies, they understand reading as a reproduction of content attached to the text. And we have more complex implicit theories, and they present more variations depending on the story. Here, we need to say that the most complex implicit theories, they are epistemic, transactional, constructive, or literary, include more strategic and critical approaches, aspects of reflection and construction of one's own identity, an emphasis on intertextuality or aesthetic pleasure. From all these proposals, for these frames, the Eticolec was derived, right? Perales et al. Used a series of collective interviews with in-service teachers to develop an implicit theory focused Likert scale on reading comprehension, not on readers or text, right? And this was called Eticolec. This is the instrument to collect data about implicit theories. Next, we have from this research, Perales et al. Found 5 implicit theories. We have the receptive, interpretive, applicative, rhetorical, and critical. First of all, the receptive implicit theory consists of understanding comprehension as a linear process of faithful reproduction of the text. And for this, it is necessary to focus on the main ideas, limiting comprehension to explicit messages of the text. Here, it corresponds to transmissive, reproductive, or linear beliefs of the text. Next, we have the interpretive implicit theory, and also applicative will be explained here. They are transactional. Both interpretive and applicative are transactional, and they relate to literary type reading. First of all, the interpretive understands comprehension as an active process of construction. So move from a very passive scenario to a more active scenario of reading comprehension. And this is seen as an active process of construction of meaning guided by the reader, which can give rise to multiple subjective interpretations. The applicative implicit theory considers comprehension as a process of relating what is read to one's own life in terms of the reader's knowledge and experiences. And this is with the aim of applying what is read to the reader's life. Next, we have the rhetorical and critical, and they are the most what is called sophisticated implicit theories. They are transactional and epistemic. First of all, the rhetorical implicit theory conceives comprehension as a process of analysis of the communicative situation of the text, including determining the textual genre, the target audience, characteristics and intention of the author, and even relationships with other texts, modifying the comprehension in response to the variations of the text. Here we adopted the label of rhetorical, inspired by the use of this adjective in works of Haas and Flower, 1998, and Perales et al. 2016. And finally, we have the critical implicit theory, and this refers to the questioning of the text's truthfulness and ideologies and relevance. And finally, there is a hierarchical order of these implicit theories. In this hierarchical ordering, we have to say that we have the critical and rhetorical as an transactional epistemic implicit theory, which are the most sophisticated ones. The applicative interpretive as transactional literary, and the receptive as transmissive. Here we inspired this organization on Moore's and Narcisso's 2011 assertion of implicit theories. Thank you.
Thanks, Mizael. Now I will explain the methods. So we prepared a modified version of the scale of implicit theories of reading comprehension, modified with a basis on interviews with members of the target population. We included more items than in the original scale. And we validated this new scale using the procedure in Pratt and Laval 2005. We administered it online to a randomly chosen sample of 77 students of the BA in English at Cozumel during spring of 2022. We identified dimensions using the statistical procedure known as principal component analysis and reliability with Cronbach's alpha, all of this with SPSS version 26. So first of all, the sample that we use is adequate to the analysis that we propose, as shown by the Kaiser-Meyer-Ohlin sample adequacy test of 0.760. And the sample complies with the assumption of sphericity as per the result of Bartlett's sphericity test. The items grouped in 5 components, similar to those in Perales et al. Not exactly the same, but similar. So we found 5 distinct implicit theories with good internal consistency, that is with a Cronbach's alpha higher than 0.7. First of all, we have the interpretive critical theory. This theory grouped items that hold that good comprehension involves imagination, emotion, and using one's subjectivity to guide understanding. But it also included 2 critical components, which are identifying authorial purposes and questioning ideologies. This implicit theory is therefore functional for reading literary works critically. Then we have the receptive rhetorical theory, where all of the receptive items and some of the rhetorical items grouped together. This theory holds that good comprehension is being faithful to the text's content, which is the receptive aspect. And this involves inferring implicit messages and identifying different voices and perspectives in the text, which are rhetorical aspects. This kind of mixed theory had been found previously with pre-service language teachers, and it seems to stem from involvement with genres that include multiple perspectives and implicit premises, which are common in the field of English language teaching. It is functional for identifying multiple perspectives and messages in single texts. Then we have the rhetorical sourcing theory. This theory holds that good comprehension involves finding information about a text's rhetorical situation, that is, its author, context of production, intertextual context, and target audience. Readers with this theory are likely to be good at sourcing, that is, evaluating multiple documents based on this kind of information. It is thus a very functional theory for multiple document comprehension, which is a common and very sophisticated type of college reading. A key difference with the previous theories is that this theory focuses on paratextual information, that is the target audience, the author, the context, and intertextuality. Then we have the applicative theory. It's exactly the same applicative theory that we had posited with the original scale. It holds that good comprehension is about applying what is learned from texts to readers' lives. And this involves analyzing the personal growth of characters in the stories and developing one's own interpretations. It's then a sophisticated literary theory of the kind found by Munita, as it focuses on reading for identity development. And finally, we have the critical strategic theory. In this theory, two critical items grouped, which are the ones about text truthfulness. Good comprehension is about evaluating whether a text is truthful, and also whether a text is relevant to the reader's contexts. And finally, adjusting one's reading strategies according to the text's genre. So like the rhetorical sourcing theory, it is a useful theory for sourcing, particularly of journalistic genres. The belief that different genres call for different reading strategies is a highly sophisticated one that is functional across reading situations. So here's our summary of implicit theories. And as you can see, the most prevalent one is the receptive rhetorical theory, which is adhered to by 28 students or 36.4%, followed by the rhetorical sourcing theory, which is held by 23 students or 29.9%. The interpretive critical theory with 20 students or 26%, and then the applicative and critical strategic theories. However, another finding is that 30 students do not adhere to any IT. That is, 30 students do not get high scores in any of the implicit theories. 17 students hold only one implicit theory, and 30 students hold more than one implicit theory, which is why the numbers on the previous slide don't add up to 100, because there are many students who hold 2 or 3 implicit theories, 39% of them. So we conclude that this new version of the Eticolect scale is a valid instrument to characterize the implicit theories of the target population. It is encouraging that most participants, 56.3%, hold sophisticated implicit theories that are functional for college-level epistemic reading comprehension tasks, which are the rhetorical sourcing and the receptive rhetorical implicit theories. It will be desirable for more students to hold these implicit theories, and it is worrisome that a large minority, 39% of the sample, don't hold any implicit theory. So the findings point to a need to increase the explicit teaching of intratextual and intertextual rhetorical reading strategies. And our next step is to apply the Eticolect scale to the whole population and to examine correlations between implicit theories and other variables, such as reading frequency and socioeconomic condition. Thank you for your attention.